Module 6, problem number 8. Because colas tend to replace healthier beverages and colas contain caffeine and phosphoric acid, researchers wanted to know whether cola consumed is associated with lower bone mineral density in women. The accompanying data lists the typical number of cans of cola consumed in a week and the femoral neck bone mineral density for a sample of 15 women. All right, so first let's go ahead. Well, let's see. Part A, find the least squares regression line treating cola consumption per week as the explanatory variable. So let's go ahead and open our data set and then click on the link to open in StatCrunch. Move over here so we can see both at once. All right, so in order to make this, or to find our regression line, we're going to go to Stat, Regression, Simple Linear. It said in there that we're treating our colas as the X variable, the independent variable, and Y as the bone mineral density. Remember, when we're looking at linear regression, one of the ways that people use this is to use one variable to predict another. So in this case, we're using net colas per week to try to predict bone mineral density. So I always think of it as the input and then the output of a model, or what decision are we trying to make. And remember, X is independent, which means it doesn't matter what the bone density is when we're looking at just the number of colas per week. All right, so click compute. Let's see, we've got a couple places where we can see our regression line. We can see it right here. This is our intercept, and here's our slope. As you can see, it's multiplied by colas per week. And then down here, we also have those same numbers listed. So let's see, so our slope goes next to X. That is negative 0.02, 30 once we round. Is that right? Yeah. And then our intercept is 0.900. Let's check answer. Good job. All right, interpret the slope and select the correct choice below, and if necessary, fill the answer box to complete your choice. Remember, the slope tells us for every unit increase in X, that's also the unit increase or decrease in Y. That's what our slope is telling us. So we're only going to look at, so this one right here for 0 colas, that's looking at the intercept interpretation for both B and C. So we know our answer is going to be A or B, or D, excuse me. So for every cola consumed per week, that's our X variable. So we know for every unit increase, that's what, now we know we're looking at this one. The bone density increases or decreases by, and here it says decreases, so we don't need to give a negative answer. We just need to give the answer that we got because we're decreasing. You don't decrease by a negative number. Okay, so let's check our answer. Excellent. If anyone has any questions about how to interpret that, let me know. Just the important thing is for the slope, for every unit increase in X, the slope tells us either the increase or decrease in the Y variable. Now, part C, interpret the Y-intercept. Select the correct choice below, and if necessary, fill in the answer box to complete your answer. So when we're interpreting the Y-intercept, that gives us the baseline or the value of Y when X is equal to 0. So in this case, when someone doesn't consume any colas per week, the intercept tells us what we would expect their bone density to be. So let's look for the one that says for 0 colas consumed in a week, and that looks like option B. And our slope that we found is 0.900. Let's check our answer. Nice work. So let's just read that again to make sure everyone understands how to interpret the intercept. For 0 colas consumed in a week, the bone density is predicted to be 0.9 grams per centimeter squared. Or excuse me, centimeters cubed, volume, sorry. All right, part D, predict the bone mineral density of the femoral neck of a woman who consumes 3 colas per week. So what we're going to do here is you're literally just plugging 3 in for X, and then your outcome, Y, is going to be the answer here, your Y hat. So let's bring up our calculator, and here's our equation right there. We're just going to go to 3 decimal places because that's what they asked for in part A. So we're going to just plug in 3 for right here. See where it says colas per week. And this is our equation. This is your Y and this is your X. I know it looks really long here. So let's do 3 times this 0.03. So do 0.03 and make it a negative. And that gives us negative 0.09. And then we're going to add that 0.900. And that gives us 0.81. So that means that for someone who consumes 3 colas per week, we would expect their bone mineral density to be 0.81. Let's check our answer. Fantastic. All right, the researchers have found a woman who consumed 3 colas per week to have a bone mineral density of 0.802. Is this woman's bone density above or below average among all women who consume 3 colas per week? So this right here is the average for people who consume 3 colas per week, is that 0.81. So we can go ahead and put that here, 0.81. And if hers is 0.802, that is less than 0.81. So that tells us her bone density is below the average of 0.81, which is just our answer from right here. That would be the average for someone consuming 3 colas per week. Let's check our answer. Excellent. All right, part F. Would you recommend using the model found in part A to predict the bone mineral density of a woman who consumes 2 colas per day? Now I want to point out that says per day, not per week. So that's 2 per day would actually be 14 per week. So let's take a quick look back at our data set. Is 14 anywhere near that data set? No, this caps out at 7. So right there, that's throwing alarm bells. This number is really far outside of our range. So it says why? Select the correct choice below, and if necessary, fill in the answer to complete your choice. So I'm going to say no, because again, if it was maybe 8 or 0, well, 0 is in our data set, but if it was maybe 8, you might be able to get away with it with some other steps to make sure the model was working. But with 14, that's double the highest value in the development data set. This is considered the development data set. So I'm going to go straight to these 2 options that say no. The first one says an X value that represents a woman complaining blank colas per week is not possible. Option D says no, an X value that represents a woman consuming blank colas per week is outside the scope of the model. That is what we are looking at. Again, this has 14 because it's 2 per day, 7 days a week. Let's check our answer. Nice work. All right, that's how you do problem number 8. I wanted to walk through this to show you some of the interpretations for the different slope, intercept, and how you apply those in the model. So if anybody has any questions, let me know.